system. I actually had to do a full reset, so I apologize that it took a little bit of time to try and get everything back up again. So bear with me a few minutes while I continue to bring up the last of the things that I need to have for the stream to be able to be checked and be monitored right. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get the universal loading here. Alright, I think I got some stuff set up. So, good morning, Zano. Appreciate you for hanging out and sticking around with us. Like I said, just ran into some technical difficulties after launching a few things first thing this morning, and it decided that, well, let's just say the PC gods were not with me this morning. So how's your afternoon going? And good morning, Anderson. So I'm pretty sure today, like I said, like the title said, we're just going to keep exploring that one new zone just a little bit because Gallog doesn't have all the information that's sitting out there on it. And interestingly enough, Chad went out to that SAL2 or SAL2 location and found out that he could load his Caterpillar entirely with titanium from out there. So, again, the information is missing from Gallog, but I think that would be really, really cool to have that as a backup location to where we can go grab titanium and do some quick runs in and out of the system. So at least I haven't checked any of the persistence or any of the other stuff. And again, today's not for me. It's not necessarily about making money. It's really about discovering if there's a few more trades that we can mess around with in the game. Sorry, I gotta adjust the audio in my ear here. It's a little over the top. Yeah, so Xano, what ended up happening is I booted the system, got all the stream information set up, had all the apps and everything running across my screens and monitors, and went to load up Star Citizen, and Star Citizen kept giving me network connection errors. It was a 16K error that I was running into, and it ended up being a situation where my system wasn't interacting with the network properly at all. So it required a full reboot. And that's kind of where I was stuck. So yeah, the stream had come up, and then I had to take it back down for a minute to reboot everything and set everything back up again. So that's kind of what happened. So I apologize. We from time to time, the channel, even when we're doing our role-playing games, we tend to run into a few little technical things that happen last minute, even when we run tests beforehand, and you have to adjust on the fly. It's the same thing with any computer when you're trying to stream with it. Well, good morning, Mud. How are you doing today? I am glad that you decided to stop in just to say hi this morning. I hope that you are having a good day. So like I said, we'll give it a little bit, and I'm exclusively, as you see, like the title on this thing, it was, beginner trading 101, right? So I'm going with the beginner trading, which is everybody has a freelancer. Let's mess around with the freelancer. Um, on average, I've been averaging about 32 to 40, depending on the city itself. Um, Zeno. So I actually do get a fairly good frame rate for gameplay purposes. Mud, I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday was a good day for me. I got three separate calls for potential interviews, and we'll see if any of that pans out. If it does, believe me, I'm not going to kill the stream by any means. I just may have to work it around a work schedule, which would be more towards the evening time, my time. But there's nothing in hand, so that's just kind of the way it's going to go at this point. Is I'm going to continue, and I'm going to continue to drive the stream and push the stream up. Which, by the way, I don't know if anybody is interested, but this evening, my group is getting back together. It'll be about 7:30 Central Time, or Central Standard Time, and we will be bringing up one of our RPG games that we normally play. So, I believe tonight is Star Wars, and it's the one that I run. We do have Percy and we do have Rick, so we have a couple other games that we play. But if you're interested at all, stop by, check it out. You'll get a chance to see some of the other folks that are on the channel that really kind of make the channel tick from behind the scenes. So, um, I know you guys have been here for Star Citizen, and I'm the one that's primarily doing Star Citizen. But you'll get a chance to see some other folks. And you'll get a chance to see me torture them, basically, in a role-playing game. Let's kill the overall chat. So, Hangar 3. Yeah, Mud, I'm looking forward to it. I'm good with... I'm one of those people that I can't just sit still. I can't just sit here. So it's like, even in my time off, because I was part of the COVID stuff that got laid off. But the reality is I've been self-teaching and self-learning how to code and program in Python. Been learning to become an admin in Informatica, so some, software for, master data management and data governance things. So those are just, been running the stream, doing various other things, projects around the house, driving my wife nuts. That's how it works. Alright, so let's get this closed up. Again, we're going to head back over to... I always say it wrong, but I think it's Lyria. But we're going to head back over to Lyria, and we're going to check out some of the other locations. We've already done the 2 mining locations. If you'll let me in my seat. There we go. And we're going to continue to explore what trades are possibly around there. And at some point in time, we may have Chad log in, so we'll see what goes down there. But let's see now. Let's go ahead and change this one to our comms channel and open the bay. All right, what would be the best place to grab a cat full of titanium? Okay, the absolute best place to grab a caterpillar's worth full of titanium, Xano, is going to be it's in the Hurston area, but it's going to be aerial, and the location that you want to go to is Latham. It has one of the best prices for titanium, and it has what feels like almost an unlimited stock. this is heading up to orbit. Alright, so mud. More tools under the belt. Tomorrow night. Good work with the morning. Well, I appreciate it, Mud. Thanks for stopping by. Not a problem. So, I think the other part of what I need to do, because I didn't bring it up while we're getting to atmosphere, let me go ahead and pull it over here. Get the windows set up, bring my chat back up, and let's go to Gallog, right? And we're going to put in our Freelancer. And what I want to look at is being able to deliver to Area 18, right? But I want to come out of Lyria. So we have done the 2 mining facilities, Sal 5 and Sal 2. Let's take a look at what this Love Ridge Mineral Reserve is and see what we got sitting there. Alright. So it doesn't look like it has much of anything for us to work with besides astatine. But if you look at what it is capable of holding astatine-wise, that's terrible. That's absolute garbage. So, Love Ridge Reserve, let's see. Again, this is a blank out here. Now, it says 772, which is kind of high for astatine. But we will go check it out because it's still blank, so we are missing a lot of information here. So that's, again, one of those things is we're going to check out as we finish our exploration here in Lyria. We'll go ahead and fly over there and just check it out, see what our refresh rates are, and see what we've got. Maybe we can hit another gem like we did with the titanium out of Sal 2. So, we are gonna head stay in our corp, head on over here to Lyria, and where is, let's see, Love Ridge Mineral Reserve. So what all has everybody else got going on in game today? Obviously, it sounds like, Xano, you got your hands on a caterpillar, so you're ready to go. You know what? I don't plan on making this Freelancer golden. I have no idea really what happened that generated that error. I think, you know, we'll see what ends up taking place. But, you know, the caterpillar, when I did do the caterpillar reset, it did wipe that functionality off, which, again, I'm glad that it did so, because I think that was, that would seriously have broken the game. Okay? I could have legitimately sat there at the trade terminals until I owned every ship in the game, and then, you know, but then I don't have any goals. I don't have anything to work towards. And part of the fun of this game, in the grind portion of it, at least for me, is the fact that you get to go after the grind. You get to go after doing that kind of stuff. So we should have a pretty good approach here. Alright. Right now you're trying to get any way possible to increase FPS. Um, so, Xano, what I can't tell you is a whole lot of details on how to really make that happen. Your old FX8150 CPU R9290. Okay. Are you running it on low settings? Okay. Oh, what the hell's happening on my screen? Oh, that was interesting. All right. So there's some things that you can do. Make sure that your VSync is turned off. Okay. You may have to make sure you also turn off your FOIP stuff. And the other thing that I can tell you, and there is a gentleman by the name, and he's on YouTube. He's called the Bored Gamer. Okay, and he does some Star Citizen stuff, but he does a lot more technical Star Citizen stuff. And one of the things that he has is some information on how to do some system stabilizations. Okay. Chad has taken a look and followed some of his advice and was able to get a lot of his computer issues on his laptop squared away. So if you're really looking for how to min-max and optimize, I will point you towards his channel and his direction. He does have a lot of really good information, and from what I've been watching and a lot of stuff that he does, I think he may also be one of the playtesters for RSI, if I'm not mistaken. He obviously seems to have a whole ton of inside knowledge about what is going on with RSI. But like I said, he does have a video specifically to doing settings and configurations for Star Citizen. So it would be really, really beneficial for you. Now, there does come a point, full disclosure here, there does come a point where you end up running into a scenario where you're just your equipment just doesn't keep up. There's only so far you can go by tweaking settings. Alright, so let's check out and see what they have here at this location, right? So obviously, we know that they have astatine. I've seen a lot of people do the fluorines, but I don't know all the ins and outs of everything that's going to happen. Now, you are playing on an SSD drive also, right? Okay, that's one of the big ones. Morning, Chris. So we're and you know, welcome to the channel again this morning. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. We're still on Lyria, but we did pick another location to go to because what we found is that for whatever reason, Gallog is not really picking up a lot of information out here. So astatine, for example, that's at this site, it's a little more expensive than other sites, but there's no refresh rate, there's no max inventory, so kind of continuing with the theme that we did the other day, I want to make sure and see what kind of refreshes are sitting out here to see if maybe we have a hidden jackpot or gold mine that people aren't looking at because it's blanking out in Gallog itself. So we are about to run that test first thing this morning. So let me get here and say 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we can pull. Pardon me. Right off the bat. So I got a full, apparently. Yeah, this is going to give me a full load. That's fantastic. Okay. Um, if that's the case, we're going to go back and we're going to grab a cat real quick. Because the only way to test something that gives us this information, or this much, you know, so we got 66 at 49K, right? Um, the only way to test the max capacity sitting here is to make sure we go grab a caterpillar. So Xano, oh, wrong turn at Albuquerque, right? I was looking over here. How does Gallog get its info? You have to sign in to Gallog. Okay? Boy, I'm discombobulated this morning. I know one of these doors lets me out. Alright. Well, so Xano, the glimmer, as you wanted to put it, it's not because I want to be in the cat permanently all the time. Yeah, I love the ship and I love how it flies. But the glimmer is because if this location is able to provide max cargo of astatine, then this is a hidden location and a hidden gem that only, myself and the viewers here will know about from a trade perspective. Because I don't log into, and we're climbing into bed, I don't log into Gallog and provide the information. I just use it as a reference tool. So apparently, note to self and note to others, on the Freelancer, when you go to click open that door, the interaction object box is obviously much larger for the ladder that stands right next to it. I think it was $7.52. Generally speaking, I don't pay attention too much to the price itself if I'm just running a test-only trade, and that's it. I pay attention to what the total value is. I'm getting some really weird UI stuff. I don't know if you guys are seeing it, where it's all kind of scratchy and scraggly and messed up there for a minute. But again, this is when you're doing this type of exploration, is what I like to consider. This is a trade exploration, right? Normally, this is the type of stuff that Chad and I would do off camera, and then we would try and bring it to the stream the very next day. But when we were messing around and doing this yesterday live on stream, I really felt that it was very good. It was good for the stream itself. So that was kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to repeat it and check it out this morning to see if it still felt natural and still felt like it was the right thing to do, so that I can target days of the week. Like Monday is going to be let's take a look at the developers' notes. Let's take a look at the development queues, things like that, the roadmap. Kind of go through any of the roundtables and stuff that they put up, announcements. And then it's just a general trade day, right? And, I really want to get to where, Wednesday and possibly Thursday are geared more towards the new people that are in Star Citizen and how they can get involved in trading. Obviously, Saturday is our mess around day, so that still gives me a Tuesday, and it still gives me Friday to kind of mess around with. Now, Friday, we know we always give away we're always giving away a Cutlass Black in game. So that's kind of like the whole thought process is Friday would maybe be another standard trading day, which means I kind of got to figure out the rest of the schedule for a Tuesday. And really, that'll fill out how we want to do things. So let's get this, obviously, back over here to... our maps rotate quite a bit to our court, and get this dropped off very quickly here. And then we're going to bring a caterpillar out so we can test that location's max quantities. Alright, good morning, Warmite. Or Warmedic. Sorry, quickly kind of flashed over here and saw you in there. So, was behaving weird yesterday. Blew up in space twice, impacting me with nothing. Lost 300,000. Dude, I am sorry to hear about the loss of 300,000. I think we're about to 30K actually, to be quite honest. There it goes. Alright. Didn't want to take any of the keystrokes there. So yeah, I get it, man. Some things seem to be a little bit weird. Like this morning, when I went to log in, it wouldn't let me log in, and it turned out that I thought it was my system problem. You know, I'm having troubles with some of the key commands and keybinds at the moment, not wanting to function. So yeah, maybe there's some stuff getting ready to happen. Maybe they're getting ready to do some patches. Which I also didn't check. Yeah, I'm still sitting there, so they haven't reset my account. Maybe because I self-reported, they'll let me keep it. Be nice. So, Warmedic did the 300 in loss basically kill your overall funds in the game? Or is it just a huge net loss to you? Well, Zeno, so one of the things that I really kind of look at it from a standpoint is, it's an alpha, I'm here to play, but just as much as I'm here to play, this is a play test. So if we don't report things and we want to sit there and, you know, try and use them to our advantage, then unfortunately we're exploiting, we're not play testing. And the only way to get this game to be done and get this actually rolled out to people is to self-report those kinds of issues. So, Warmedic, what ship are you running? Obviously, you by 300K, either you were running something crazy expensive, or you're using a cat and using one of the middle tier trades that I've been showing off. Because if you lost 300 and you're still at 5, I would have expected that you're right there where I naturally, myself, with the Caterpillar, would be picking up the diamond trade. Yep. Okay, so let's get back into cockpit here, get ourselves a landing zone. There we go. There's our spot. You were running diamonds from Tram and Myers. Okay. Perfect. So you're doing exactly what the standard, or what I consider to be kind of like my standard practice at that point. Were you running them into Levski, or were you trying to run them into Lorville? Alright, so let's offload this and then continue on with this particular test of this location. So yes, again, I know this is beginner 101, but at the same time doing this test, we just found that location that allowed us to fully stock astatine. So I want to make sure that what the actual limits of that terminal are. Alright, so running to Lorville. We had to wait to offload recently at leveling. Alright, so I'm not picking up with what you're putting down on the second part of that. You had to wait to offload recently at leveling. As far as the first part, running to Lorville, I don't know of any glitches that exist there itself. You know what? We're not going to make that trade yet. Autocorrect Levski. Okay. Yeah, for whatever reason, something happened at Levski during Fleet Week and Free Flight Week where people had just absolutely crushed Lorville and what it could take into capacity. I had never seen that before Fleet Week. Now, going into Lorville, there should not be any issues. There is, when you go to Levski, there's an OM1 issue when you're launching off of Tram and Myers that occasionally will cause you to hit what looks like a invisible wall, and you'll blow up. I've done it on stream more than once. Let's see, Caterpillar 2 is on Hangar 7. Alright, so you notice that I didn't just immediately run over to go sell that. Again, this morning's stream is about showing what some of these routes are, and I've got the financials, I've got the numbers written down. So we are going to do a quick jump over there so that we can test the limits of this particular location. Once I come back, I'll do the sales, and then you guys can check and see exactly what it would be like for not only we want 7, Hangar 7, for what it would be for the Freelancer, but also what it would be for the Caterpillar if this thing does have the amount of quantity that it seems like it's capable of having. And also, I will let everyone know that I think next month, so July's Friday giveaways, will potentially shift from being a Cutlass Black to possibly, and I have to double check and make sure that I've got the ability to do it, but I think what we'll do in July is we'll probably switch over to giving away Freelancer Maxes for people that may not have cargo ships. See if we can get them into the cargo running business. And then I'm toying with the idea, just depends on how much game time I get, how much funds I'm able to farm up, but I'm also toying with the idea of maybe at the end of July, or possibly the end of June here, we may give away a Caterpillar online, or Caterpillar on the stream. So we'll see. It's not confirmed. I'm still toying with the idea. I know I'm probably going to get a bunch of people saying, yes, 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 do it, do it, do it. But again, I got to be able to make sure that I can farm the money in order to be able to do this for everybody. But I think in that particular scenario, if I do decide to do a Caterpillar in that particular scenario, it will probably be a giveaway for followers. So it'll probably be one where you have to be a follower in order to be able to actually get into that drawing. But we'll work out all the details on that one. as soon as, also, based upon yesterday's stream, as soon as Chad lets me know if he is going to be available tomorrow morning, then we will try and see what we can do about getting the getting a few of you guys to log in, become pilots, and then we'll run some major trades in the game. We'll take out all 4 caterpillars and we'll run some major trades in the game, and then every one of our pilots will actually get a portion of that profit. Just so that we can start getting some more, you know, group gameplay together, and still kind of keeping with the theme of the channel as far as the overall trade aspects of stuff. Alright. So let's go ahead and set our location to Lyria. And we were, where's that? Loveridge Mineral Reserve, right? So that's what we want to go ahead and quickly get over here to test and make sure and see whether or not that's working. So guys, I see a lot more people jumping in and out between YouTube and Twitch, so feel free to jump into chat and interact with us. As you can see, it's been pretty lively so far with Xano and War Medic and getting to go back and forth. I've had a couple of our regulars that have stopped by and said hello this morning already. So, you know, chat makes the stream, guys. Obviously, I know there's always going to be people out there lurking, but feel free to jump in. Love to get to know everybody. And by all means, if you have a question, ask it. Between somebody that's either on the stream or myself, we'll more than likely be able to get it answered for you. Now, War Medic, I did have a question for you. Obviously, because of the loss that you just took, I don't know what your level of risk that you're willing to accept is. If you're going to go right back to running diamonds, then, you know, feel free to. I usually don't run diamonds until after I hit about an 800k level of reserve funds. But if you need something that is a steady earner that you're not taking a ton of risk on, again, you can go to Daymar, and you can go to Bountiful Harvest, and you can run 120 SCU of distilled spirits, and then fill the rest up with processed food, drop that off at HURL4, and then run scrap from HURL4 back to Port Olisar. The net will give you somewhere between 48 and 50k every single round trip run. Takes about 15 to 20 minutes to knock that out, and it's pretty safe. So generally speaking, it takes a couple hours to grind through that one to get up to about that safety net zone where you can instantly switch back over to doing diamond again. If you don't want to spend your time traveling across the verse, then and you're at that point where it's kind of the same with diamond, then I would suggest going over to Hurston and then doing the aerial runs between Besdic, Lathan, and back to Lorville. It shortens your flight time significantly, and it's about the same expenditure as far as risk is concerned when you load up. Coming in a little hot. Probably going to overshoot this a little bit. Maybe. No, we were able to stop just in time. Alright, let's see if we got a good spot we can put the cat on the ground, because all this terrain looks really, really uneven. back up and get a good view here. Yeah, this is not a cat-friendly location, which means we're just going to have to put it on the ground and deal with the way it's landing. Hopefully we don't have too many rocks in the way and don't end up not being able to get back into our ship. Like I said, War Medic, that is that's one of my favorite runs, because once you get your first 100K worth of overall value into your AUEC, you're never risking more than 75 to 80K of it, and each leg of the cargo that you're carrying is never more than 75 to 80K. And you're still going to make 20 to 28K, depending on what's happening there. You're still going to make a good amount of money by the time it's all said and done. It's just a slow, steady earner, and it helps you get up to the point where you can start trading in bigger commodities. I don't think the Starfarer, and I'll do some more research to it just to verify, so I'm going to make an off-the-cuff statement right now, Chris. I don't think that the Starfarer will be able to refine quantum fuel. I think it will just be able to store it and haul it and then offload it. But what I do think is going to end up happening is that all the quantum fuels, there's going to be a different type of station that you're going to be able to drop that stuff off at and load at to be able to make something like that happen. But again, I don't think it's going to be able to refine quantum fuel. Alright, so time for the test. Again, we found our astatine. Now it's at 764, right? So it's starting to creep up in price. But, alright. So apparently, even though I was able to fill the Freelancer, I think what probably happened is it had just enough units because it hadn't been messed with, and that's fine. So we're just going to see what we get here, right? So 45 units at 33.6K, right? So we're going to go ahead and give this an extra couple minutes after I make this purchase. And again, right now this isn't about profit for me. This is about making sure what these terminals are capable of doing when Gallog's not even showing what is here, right? So we just want to make sure that other people get the opportunity to get out here and grab stuff. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm using Gallog, right, and I'm going to check my time. I've got 10:01, so I've got to wait 5 minutes for the terminal. When I check it, I run into a lot of these situations where I'm looking at blanks as far as refresh rates, max inventories, stuff like that. UC Gaming, welcome to the channel. Absolutely, feel free to ask any question that you would like. In the meantime, while I'm waiting to get that question posted, this is the kind of stuff that Chad and I like to explore. We want to make sure that what we're running into is that we have proper information. Like this statement right here, Yila, R-Corp Mining 157. I have never seen a 45,000 refresh rate at this location. This information is off. Okay? Alright, so UC Gaming. If you do a character reset in your account, does it reset your ships bought with AUEC? No, it does not. Now, I will say this before you immediately run off and go do this. A reset on your account does not get rid of your ships that you have purchased, because those are part of what is part of the persistence that's being stored through the database, right? But they are not kidding when they say once you do a character reset, do not immediately try and log into the game. Okay? Wait 15 minutes, at minimum 15 minutes. It's safest to wait an hour. But if you do wait an hour before logging back into the game, you should be able to log back in and all your funds should be there. All of the ships that were a part of your account should still be there, and you should be good to go. Now, if you don't mind, let me ask you, what is prompting the reason for you to need to do a character reset? Some issues actually can be fixed by only deleting your user folder. Alright, so let's see. Try fix this, hit me back up. Alright. Not old like Garrison. I want to be back in mine. Alright, there we go. So like I said, feel free to let, if you can, tell me why you feel like you need to do a character reset. And I'll give you my honest opinion on it, right? I mean, I'm not a game dev, but I'll tell you what's going on. Gear and ship should still be there, ones bought in-game with in-game currency, right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The ones bought with in-game currency should still be there. I've done a character reset personally, and I still had all of my stuff. But I will tell you that it did take about an hour before some of the in-game purchases showed back up. Okay? Some of the challenges you may run into, weapons and gear. Specifically weapons and gear, and possibly some of the upgrade items that you buy for your ships. There is a possibility those may be deleted. The long-term persistence on those is buggy at best. Okay? Ship terminal keeps duplicating the Avenger Titan default ship, so my list keeps getting longer. I've had that happen, and when we go back, you'll see that I actually have multiple ships that it's the same thing. That is a UI bug, and there's not much that you can do about that. Boy, Trifixus is really on this morning, didn't he? Let's see. Let's see. Jelly. Better than the Vanguard. Oh, them some fighting words, Jelly. Alright. No, I'm just messing with you, dude. Alright. We're just killing another minute or two before we can check the trade terminal. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and see if it's actually refreshed already. I doubt it, but... So, Astatine. So, we're still sitting at that same 764. So, in 5 minutes, it looks like it may be refreshed 7. So, 1 SCU per minute at this point. They're all actual ships I can use, and it keeps making more every time one gets destroyed. Okay, so UC. That is consistent with the behavior that is currently happening in-game. At some point in time, with the next patch, and I believe it's probably going to be 3.10, that's going to be hitting either late June or early July, that you're going to see a scenario where that's one of those UI fixes that will be potentially taken care of. Okay? All I can tell you is enjoy it while you've got it, because there's techniques that you can use while you have them. Okay? Now, is the Avenger Titan the only ship that you actually have in your inventory? And the reason why I'm saying this, to enjoy it while you have it and do what you've got, is because it will go away, right? Obviously, you should have the Avenger, you should have the Freelancer. But in my opinion, it's not worth doing a character reset just to clean that screen up. Okay, well that's good. Your prospector in this game is an absolute moneymaker. That thing is a fantastic machine just to go crazy on making some money. Um, I kind of prospected myself out there for a while, but you bought the Titan pack and farmed a prospector. So, yeah, that's fine. Have you done any upgrades to your ships? Okay. So again, this will be the last part of figuring out this particular terminal. I just want to double check, but right now, the astatine refresh rate here is only 1 AUEC per minute, which I don't like. Yeah, the two I own full. If you do a character reset, you are risking the fact that those upgrades could potentially be lost in the reset. So again, I understand that it can be a little frustrating walking up to the terminal and having like 20 of the same ship just sitting there. But at this point, I wouldn't do it. I would hold off for the rest of the month and wait for 310 to kind of drop. So if you're making up to 200K with your prospector, you're doing something right. Obviously, that means you're dropping in on some really good Quantium nodes. Right now, all I can tell you is that if you're picky and you run astatine, and that's usually the way that not astatine, agricium, I'll usually earn between 80 to 100K, depending on additional nodes that I may find at the very end, like a Quantium node. But the prospector is a fantastic way to do several things. And again, obviously, I'm a trader, so I try and equate everything to trading. Yeah, Quantanium, right? It is what it is. But I try and equate everything to trading. And the prospector with a helix mining head will give you an option in order to be able to run straight up and break about any rock that there is in the game. You'll end up being able to find or being able to mine out an absolute crap ton of money to buy ships with. I could usually sit down and within a matter of a few hours, if I wanted to, I could buy most of the more basic fighters in the game just by using a prospector. So it's a great tool to get funds. You can continue to bank the money up on a regular basis, go into trading, which then you get the issue of, do I spend the 2.3 million to buy the Freelancer Max, or do I just go ahead and hold off and continue to farm an extra 2.3 or 2.4 million above that in order to be able to get the Caterpillar? That's your own personal choices, but to get a Freelancer Max should take less than a week, and to get a Caterpillar, just doing nothing but farming, mining, take you probably maybe 2 weeks, tops. So that's the rub. Now, once you have it, if anything were to happen, and let's say you lost all your AUEC, you lost, an account reset had to happen, something stupid, the devs wiped the database, and everything, is no longer considered there from persistence, then if you still have a prospector, you still have the ability to go ahead and farm up anything that you want to do. And it's low risk. So it is a fantastic ship. And as a matter of fact, full disclosure, it's what my game package is. So no matter what they do, I believe in that process so much and that technique so much that I made sure my account ship was a prospector so that I could always be able to immediately go back out, farm up funds, and get right back into the trading aspect of the game. So I don't run it much while I'm on stream, but it is something that it's still there. So this is probably still the same 7A UEC. It should error out on me. Yep. Got about another minute or so for it to pick up. Yeah, so you see, if for those that may not be privy to what we're talking about right now, you can rent a prospector, right? And you can go to Loreville, go to the trade terminals, and not trade terminals, but the ship rental terminals, right there at near the elevators, and you can rent a prospector. Now you can also, and that's about 44K. Go out, do a couple of garbage farming runs, and you'll be able to very quickly get about 100,000 together within a matter of about 3 or 4 farming runs. And I'm talking garbage runs. It doesn't matter what you're really dealing with as long as you're getting some materials in there and you're bringing it back and selling it. And then if you go to Dumper's Depot and you pick up a Helix mining head size 1, you can put that on the rented ship. I've had to do it, but the only way I've been successful at doing it is going into my personal hangar when you first log into the game. And then you can make that update and then go back into the game and put the Helix mining head on. And once you have that, it's on. You can get out there and you can go after the big rocks that have the big high quality materials in it, and you can start making some pretty decent chunk of change. And even if you're just quickly dropping in a zone and you're only picking up things like titanium and diamond and agricium and then the occasional quantanium rocks, those things you'll end up averaging between 50 and 70K every 30 minutes that you're actually out there farming. So again, I believe in the ship and I believe in what it can do. As I've evolved in the game, I enjoy more of the trading aspect of it. The prospector to me is a tool that helps me get to it whenever I need to. Now, also, if I'm out for some, and just take a look, the price jumped up to 771, which means it refreshed. So we're 5 minutes in, roughly, and it's put another 8 SCU in there. So we're looking at 1 to 1.5 SCU per minute here, which means this location is not going to be viable for large-scale big trading. So for argument's sake at this point, I think let's just see what is going to work a little bit better here, right? Let's see. Trading. Let's put a couple zeros in front of that. We are here, and we want to go back to Loreville. Or not Loreville. We want to go back to Area 18, right? So again, this is how I use Gallog. It's just more or less just a reference tool for me. But obviously, the next best is going to be fluorine. So I'm going to go ahead and take fluorine. And be able to pull in just a little bit of cash based upon that. So we're going to go ahead and top off, because I'm not going to sit here all day on a 1 ASCU refresh rate. But I'm also not going to fly with an empty cargo bay. Alright, so you see, and I'll just tell you this right now. Again, I really enjoy the trading aspect of the game, right? I am backwards again. There we go. That's the way we want to go out. There are many ways to really kind of get into it, and one of the things that I'm trying to show right now is that even with a standard Freelancer, and what I was checking here was max capacities, which is why you see the cat. But even with a standard Freelancer, there are plenty of ways to go ahead and make some pretty solid cash. I don't know, like, what it sounds like you're sitting because you're banking up for a caterpillar, right? So it sounds like you're sitting on a pretty decent bankroll, right? This could be bad. There we go. All right. And if you are, then the only thing that I would suggest that you do is you take your freelancer that you currently have available to you and start running Laranite. Okay? Start running that between Besdick and Lathan out of Ariel and running it into Lorville. That's the fastest way to make a good chunk of change outside of your prospector. But again, you're gonna be in a situation where you're risking money to do it. That's the problem that most people have with trading, is that they get very, very agitated because they have a goal in mind about what they're going to be able to make. Especially if they 30K or error out. Some of the guys that have been around here forever, or not forever, but since I started streaming, they'll tell you I'm at a point where it's like whatever happens happens. Most of the time, I'm laughing off like 500K losses, because it is what it is. And made 30K for the run and had 100K invested. All right. So the problem with running Slam and the problem with running some of those drugs, now, great commodities if you're going to do it, but it takes forever to offload. If you're looking to make quick cash and you're looking to make good money and you want it real fast and real, and done really, really well, then, yeah. So you see, I'm that way as well. It's really just you have to take the good with the bad, because for everything that happens bad in the game, there's going to be something that happens that's good. Like Zeno early in the stream, he was asking me about the whole golden cat situation, and I filed a claim against my golden caterpillar to get rid of it. I happened to have a caterpillar that was how can I describe this? A bug happened in the game and my caterpillar had an infinite amount of Laranite to sell. So I did some testing, did some other things with it, and then self-reported to RSI to let them know that bug had taken place, rather than truly sitting there and exploiting it like crazy. But then I filed a claim against the ship, and it reset the ship and cleaned everything out. Alright, so let's go ahead and get back to Area 18. Are you going to give me a... So, of course you're not going to let me zoom in on you. There we go. There we go. Now we can spool. Alright, sorry about that. Controls are acting a little freaky this morning. They're taking such a time delay to get done. Now, here's the other side of that. You see, one of the things that I do strongly, and I mean it, I strongly recommend it. Once you're able to get another ship that can do trade runs, okay, it's okay to take a Freelancer and fully load it down with like Stim or Widow or Slam or whatever else, right? Fully load it down and take it over to like the CRUL4 or HURL4 or whatever, or L5, whatever. They have some of the illegal trade terminals, right? And you park it there. And then you form your trade routes around making sure that every time you stop there, like your scrap runs and other stuff like that, that you do a trade route for a while until every time you stop in there, you're able to continue to sell as an added bonus what you have sitting on that Freelancer. Okay? It's just a little extra padding to the account just because you've got it there and you've got it parked. But don't do that until you have another trade ship that's going to be your primary ship. Now, next thing I'm going to ask you is, again, because you came here for information to learn how to trade, is the Freelancer the largest ship that you have SCU-wise currently on your account? Landing gear? Cruise control? Alright. Let me get through this landing cycle here real quick. So yeah, there are several choices that you have at your fingertips. But if you're going straight for the cat, I can't fault you for that because that's exactly what I did. Okay? I love my Caterpillar. I'll be the first one to tell you. You know, I try and get behind the controls of this thing every time it's possible. It is such a fantastic ship to fly. Alright, so I will ask you as well, have you ever considered any of the other ship combinations that are sitting out there? Is there a reason why you're avoiding the Freelancer Max? I just want to get in your head so I can understand why, you know, the cat is why what you're going for. Okay. Alright. So I have been playing since about the end of January. So I'm new to the game myself. Okay? But I specifically focused in on trying to make sure that the things that I liked about the game wasn't just kind of a let me get in and get into the fighters and shoot stuff and become a murder hobo. I could play Wing Commander. I could go offline games for that. I can do anything along those lines, right? But I liked the MMO side, and I like in any game, currency is king, right? Because he who has currency can do 99% of the stuff in the game and not feel limited. And what I found is that in trading, there is a much higher cap for your earning potential than there is in other aspects of the game. That doesn't diminish them. First-person shooter portions of the game, you know, the flight mechanics, the combat, the bounty hunting, all that other stuff, you can still make good money by doing that. But that's really not, again, what pulled me into it. So, as far as trading ships are concerned, your mid-tier, okay, your primary low-end trading ship is going to be your Freelancer, right? And then you get into the mid-tier. Your mid-tier is going to be something along the lines of your Freelancer Max. You have one that's a little bit better than that as far as like your Starfarer, but you're going to pay a crap ton of money for only like 300 SCU, and it flies like an absolute turd. It's a terrible ship to fly. Your Constellations have about 90 SCU. The Andromeda does, so that one's okay to work with. Although your Constellation also doubles as a very good ship to do things like claim jumpers and other stuff with. So if you're wanting a very good, just kind of mid-tier kind of, it can do a little bit of everything, that's it. If you're wanting something where it's just a down and dirty, you want to make some decent money, and you want to be able to have good fuel efficiency, the whole 9 yards, and you're willing to accept, you know, if you want to make really good money, you have to run the highly expensive stuff, then your Freelancer Max is my honest go-to ship at that point. If you just want some good casual trading that pretty much no matter what you trade, you're going to make, you know, okay money on, then, and you're willing to take the risk on it, then the Caterpillar is it, right? Now, I could theoretically go over and sit and just do nothing but farm up Laranite and fill out a Caterpillar, load it, take about 1.7 million risk, and then make, you know, close to 300k worth of profit in one run. But it takes forever to do that stuff. So you probably saw it earlier where I was talking to War Medic, and you know, the diamonds and titanium, if you're a Caterpillar owner, are really where it's at. That's where you're going to make a vast majority of your money. So we want to go to the trades. Now, also, full disclosure, a lot of the guys that have been here for a while will also tell you that one of my favorite commodities to truly trade is astatine. I don't know why I love it so much, but it's a very good commodity to run. And there's a couple of locations to be able to work with that. Alright. So the Freelancer, when we first started this whole process, alright, and keep in mind we are talking about, hold on here, so we are talking about running from Loveridge back to Arcor, right, and it's saying that astatine should net us in the Freelancer 44k, right, and I don't think that that is the case. We're going to double check, but I really don't think that that's the case. So astatine does sell here for a full 9 AUEC, which means that we're going to get a pretty good spread, but we're going to sell the whole thing for 59,000, right? So this is where, you know, now obviously that's if I was on the Caterpillar, but this is from a Freelancer perspective. This is a ship that everybody has right now, and this is a trade that everybody can make. So if I sell it for 59.4, then ultimately I'm making roughly, what, 19k-ish here. So I bought it for 33. Hold on. Oh, hold on. We're going to like, actually, we're going to end up making what looks like about 25K off of this. Okay? All right. So, guys, I do have to take a phone call that is coming in. It's a very important call. I'm going to put the stream on hold for 1 second, and I will be right back. Alright, guys, I am so sorry. I do apologize. Thank you. I know that I do see quite a few folks still sitting over on YouTube, and I see a couple sitting over on Twitch, and I apologize, but that was a call concerning, again, possible employment. So I just wanted to make sure that, I did take that phone call. So unfortunately, even though during stream time this does happen, um, like I tell a couple of viewers, real life does come first, and sometimes you just have to take the calls when they come in. So let's get back to what we were doing here. I saw something that happened, or James Bradshaw. If you're still on, please go ahead and type into the YouTube chat to let me know that you're still on, because you asked a question about how much AUEC do you suggest saving up before starting trade runs. And I have no problems answering that, but I want to make sure that I directly answer your question, and I want to make sure that you're the one benefiting from the information as well. Alright, so as we pick back up here, let me jump back over into the sale. So I'm going to be able to sell this for $59.4, and we purchased for $33.6. So ultimately, we're looking at about a $25K profit. And this is just using a freelancer running astatine alone. So astatine is always going to get a thumbs up from me on this channel. So if you guys want to know a commodity that you can run and you can trade with, it's astatine. Okay? Now, get your pens and paper together, because here's gonna come the next piece of this. When we look at astatine runs, I don't know why I tabbed out there. I just wanted to back up from the terminal. When we look at astatine runs, what you need to do is there are two locations that I am basically going to, or actually a couple locations that I'm going to really just kind of hit home and say, this is going to work for you. Alright? So, Shubin Mining Facility, sitting out here on Lyria. Okay? So, the SAL2 and the SAL5. You should be able to get astatine from those locations, and you should be able to run that with a standard freelancer. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to run that in on a short jump back here to ArcCore at Area 18. Okay? The next location, Hurston. And this is honestly one of my favorite ones. On Ida, there are two sites. There's Ryder and there's Woodruff, and that's the only sites that exist. Both of them sell the same thing. Astatine is available at both locations. Every hour and a half, the refresh rate works to where you can bring a caterpillar in here, and you can fully load a caterpillar with astatine, which means that it's going to work with any ship that is smaller than that. Okay? Did we just 30K? What the? Yeah, we did. Alright. I'm glad my ships were landed. So ultimately, the step here is that you go from, you launch in, you go to Ryder, and you pick up what you can in astatine. If you don't max out your ship, you fly over to Woodruff and you pick up the remainder amount there. And then you go into Lorville at Hurston and you sell. Lorville, Port Olisar, and Area 18. Astatine sells for 9 AUEC per share. So you're going to make pretty solid money running that commodity. The challenge is that you're not going to make it so quickly, that it doesn't refresh so quickly, that you can just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But once an hour, being able to make on a full loaded cat, you can make between 90 and 100K running astatine. On a freelancer, obviously, as you just saw, just a standard freelancer, you're going to make about 26K. If you're in a freelancer max, you're going to make about 52K. Okay? So just understand that astatine to me is one of the absolute basic ones that you said that you can do, right? So UC Gaming, you said trade to Lorville. Yes. The 3 locations that you can sell astatine for the best is Port Olisar, Lorville, and Area 18. Okay? My personal philosophy is go to the closest location. Alright? If you hit up the closest location, you're going to find out that things are going to be a whole lot better for you. Alright, bear with me here for 2 seconds, guys. Alright, Red Dragon, good morning. Hadn't seen, I saw you pop in yesterday for a little bit of time. How's your day going? Alright, so obviously James hasn't responded yet, so it looks like he may have dropped off of the stream, but I'll go ahead and answer his question now, just in general for everybody. He asked the question, how much AUEC do you suggest saving up before starting trade runs? It's very ship dependent. You can start trade runs with any amount of AUEC. I started with 17K. Personally, that's what I started with, was 17K. And built it up. It took a long time to do it, but it was a very fun challenge, actually. Now, if you're on a smaller ship like a Freelancer, 17K works just fine. Again, what you're going to be looking at is things like scrap runs and distilled spirits and processed foods and things like that. And you're going to make a little bit of money every single time. But you have to completely reinvest that money back in until you maximize the full cargo hold that you have. So I would suggest on a Freelancer, get about 100K before you start making your runs. Alright? That's going to always allow you to fill up with decent product, and you're still going to have money left over. Okay? Rule of thumb, no matter what you're trading, never fill your cargo hold more than half of what funds you have available. Because if you have a system crash like we just had the 30K, then you're going to need that. You're going to need those extra funds in order to be able to start back over again. Don't ever risk it all. Now, if you're in a medium class ship or if you wanna start trading bigger commodities, I put it in a situation where I say, personally, I will run the distilled spirits, the processed food, and the scrap until I have netted 800K in my bank account. Once I'm at that point, I do diamond runs, and I run the diamond either into Levski or Lorville, and I go until I am sitting at about 2 million. Once I'm at about 2 million in the bank, then I will shift to running astatine and titanium as my primary commodities. And that's just me. Those are the thresholds that I've set myself. Alright, so Freelancer Max. Alright, let me go ahead and give you the information on the Freelancer Max. So if we come down to the Miss Freelancer Max, it is 2.18 million, and you can buy it at New Deal, and that is in Lorville. Right after you get off the elevators and you turn like you're going to the ship consoles, New Deal will be the hallway to your right hand side. And you can go up to the terminal and you can buy a Freelancer Max for 2.18. Alright, I think we're good there. No more standing around, right? So in today's check, obviously, when we were out at Lyria and we were checking on that new location with the astatine, okay, let's hop back over here and pull up Gallog. when we were looking at the new location for Loveridge Mineral Reserve, it really didn't work out too much in our favor. Astatine didn't refresh fast enough. So we can take a look at, we have a couple of different things that are sitting here, like Paradise Cove, Humboldt Mines, and the Orphanage. So there's another set of mines here, and I'd like to stick with the minerals as much as possible. So let's take a look at what Humboldt Mines is telling us that they have available. Okay? And again, I'm going to go and I'm going to change my ship back to the Freelancer, because we're doing this based upon what everybody should have available to them. Alright, titanium, gold, fluorine, chlorine, and corundum. Okay? Now, it looks like chlorine has one hell of a good margin, but it doesn't have a good payout. Okay? So, we would be looking more towards the payout side. But if Humboldt Mines has titanium, let's see what it says around it. Okay? Let's see. Humboldt Mines. So, we have a very, very, very low refresh rate, but we have a good max inventory. Okay? Which means this is probably one of those things that you could run out and you could fill up a ship one time on it. Because it has 800,000 max. Just takes forever for it to refresh. So you could probably run out and grab a shipload once a day of titanium and bring it back for a good sale. So let's go out and let's go check that out and just double check for sure. So again, on the stream, trying to get people to understand what the basics of tradings are here. I want to take, like I said, a couple of days out of every single week and look at this as if this is a new person getting into the game, trying to find information on what really does work, and how they can specifically target making money. So locations that are less visited are always going to be your best friend. Okay? Those locations are always going to be things that, if the major trade routes don't work out for you during the day, or you're running into system issue or glitch after glitch, then you run to some of these satellite locations, some of these places that are way out there, and you end up with a little bit better scenario. Now, let me get back to Red Dragon. Dude, Star Citizen is doing okay today. I did have some problems logging in first thing this morning, and obviously just as you logged in, we were in the middle of experiencing a 30K for the first time. I can say that I am fortunate enough to not have had any losses. All my ships were parked. So let's go ahead and offload the rest of what we were doing with our initial test, because we did have the Caterpillar that we ran and did some stuff with, right? Obviously, I'm not looking at this one from a monetary perspective. The Caterpillar load was to test the maximum capability and refresh rates. And guys, this is what it takes. This is what it takes in the game for you to get to the point where you have the information to be able to help folks out. Is exploring this kind of stuff. Sometimes it turns out really, really cool. Sometimes you're kind of like, it is what it is, right? Yes, that astatine was from Lyria. Everything these last two streams, so today's stream and yesterday's stream, it's all out of Lyria. So the mining facility, the Sal 2, Sal 5, and oh goodness, what was this one? What was the name of this one? I need to go back. Hold on. Refresh this. It wasn't Humboldt. It was the Mineral Reserve. Okay? Yep. No, it wasn't single time bought. Um, on the Caterpillar, that particular astatine was to test the refresh rates. Okay. So Xano, let me be very, very clear. When I first went there, I went there with the Freelancer, and I was able to successfully fully load the Freelancer with 100% astatine. But then when I immediately came back with the Caterpillar, I was only able to get 8 or 9 SCU every time that the system refreshed 5 minutes later. Okay? So it's a very slow refresh rate. I do not suggest going to Love Ridge Mineral Reserve to pick up astatine. Go to the Sal facilities in order to get your astatine loads there. Their refresh rate seems to be a little better. Alright, so Humboldt Mines. We are going to go ahead and head back to the starport, and we're going to go check out Humboldt Mines real quick. Is anyone else just not hearing in-game audio? I'm seeing the desktop audio, but I personally am not hearing it. It's just like dead quiet. Okay, so Fabio Regia, yes, I can hear you. I can read your comments. Obviously, you are new to the stream and you're over on our YouTube side, so welcome. There we go. That corrected my audio. It dived in my headphones. Just dropped. So I don't know whether to pronounce it Fablo or Fabio. It's a little bit far from my eyes to read at this point. This is so much I follow you from a few days. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate the follow, Fabio. It is, I just want to share the information that I got when I first started playing this game, because it took me a long time to really figure out what the heck was going on, and a lot of people struggle, and it turns them off from the game. That's what I'm doing right now. So, Fablo, if you only have the Freelancer, I need you to tell me how much money you have in your in-game account, the AUEC, so I can tell you what trade would work best for you to start off with. So, Xano, it absolutely does do that. There's Chad and I will kind of make jokes back and forth with each other. All right, so Fabio, give me 1 second. Let me answer Xano real quick. Chad and I have made jokes back and forth with each other that there's like these thresholds that you run into. And so Fabio, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. And you'll pretty much be able to see our content on a daily basis. But Xano, we hit these thresholds. Like mine, for whatever reason, was 2 million. Okay? Increments of 2 million. Every time I get right to the point where I'm about to flip over another 2 million, the game would just start crashing, and it would start 30K'ing on me left and right, only when I had fully loaded Caterpillars. And then I have to fight to just make up the money. It was horrible. I think Chad was at 5 million. He was struggling at 5 million to be able to get past that mark. But it always seems to happen pretty much exclusively right after you're like, okay, 2 statements I will never make again in my life. This is my last run of the day. I am guaranteeing that I'm going to 30K with cargo on board if I make that statement. And then the second statement is, it's okay to make a long run. It's been stable. If I make that statement, it's going to crash every time. All right. So let's get back to the question that Fabio asked. You have 800, and I'm assuming that's really in total. We're not talking 800K. We're talking you have 800 AUEC and a Freelancer right now. Is that correct? Hangar 3. Okay. Your choices are very limited right now. So, Fabio, do you have any other ships in your inventory right now? What other ships besides the Freelancer do you have? Okay. All right. So, Fabio, I'm going to show you something that I think you probably need to know, because if you're always doing deliveries, and again, there we go. I love that little Freelancer glitch issue. Let's let him lay down, and then we'll get him back up. So, I'm going to show you something, and I think are you new to the game? Because it sounds like that's potentially what part of the issue is that you're very, very new to the game. Boy, this is enough to make you seasick getting in and out of that bunk, isn't it? Okay. All right. I'm just trying to establish a baseline so I understand really what we're looking at and how I can best help you with some of the questions that you're currently asking. Okay. One of the best ways to get money in the game is initially, if you don't have a whole lot of stuff available to you, are the delivery missions. Now, I think if you're doing a bunch of delivery missions and you're only getting, very minor amounts of cash, then you may be doing the wrong delivery missions. And I'm going to show you which ones as soon as we get a little bit airborne here. What to do. Okay, that should have closed. Come on, close up. There it goes. So we will lock our cruise control heading for the sky, and we will be good there. Alright? Now, in your mobiGlas, when you go to your missions, there's two types. You've got these deliveries that are right here. Okay? The more expensive the delivery is on the standard general page, the longer it is it's going to take you to make that delivery, and the further you have to fly, and it's fine, right? Those are fine. You can fly through these, you can get money, and you can do this. They just take a while. But on this personal tab, and I don't know if you're using it or not, but if you look where I'm at right now, I could go, and it would take me a little bit of time. I could fly into salvage, Samson & Son Salvage, and then fly to another hidden location, or Brio's Brickyard, okay? And I could get 15K right off the bat. One delivery mission is enough if you pick the right one under the personal, and it may take you an hour to get through it. But one delivery mission is enough that you should be able to have more than plenty money to be able to start trading in a Freelancer. Okay? if you don't see this one, okay, if you don't see this 15K one, then head out to ArtCorp, and it should show up in your personal inventory here. All right, but you do need to get yourself a bare minimum of 10K in your bank account before you start trying to do trades. If not, you will never make headway because the quantity of what you can buy is so low, you're just not going to make any money. Okay? Now, when you get there and you have that money, this is what I'm going to tell you to do. I'm going to pull up my map here, and I'm going to back it out. I'm going to tell you to go to Crusader. Okay? The reason why I'm going to tell you to go to Crusader is because you want to keep a short-in system where you can get some cheap stuff and be able to handle it and deal with it, and you'll make some good money to start off with. Alright? So out here on Sealand, there is a location called Tram and Myers. Okay? You will become intimately familiar with this location as a Star Citizen trader. Now, at Tram and Myers, you can buy various goods and products. But what you'll need to do is every time you go there, and I'm going to tab screens. So just keep in mind, write this down. It's Sealand and Tram and Myers. That location. Okay? Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to say, let me have my Freelancer. And let's just say that all I have is 10,000. Okay? And I want to go from Tram and Myers, and we're going to take it to Port Olisar. So again, these are very short, very, very quick runs. Okay? And I'm going to calculate this. So here's what you can expect to make with only having 10,000. Now, you can pick up Diamond, and you're not going to be able to pick up a full cargo bay with only 10,000. But you should be able to run and sell that and make about 1,500 profit. Okay? Approximately. And then you go back and you repeat it. But now you've got an extra 1,500. Right? Now you're making 1,700 profit. But you see how that's going to continually add up until you're running a full load of material here. Okay? Now, I'm telling you to do this, and I'm breaking a cardinal rule as I'm telling you to do this. The cardinal rule is never load your ship with more than half of your available funds. So if you have 10,000, you want to use 5,000 of it. So now I'm going to show you the real calculation. Still the same run. Okay? But we're going to recalculate it. Alright? That means that if you were to do this run, the most profitable item that you could run the first time is aluminum. Okay? And then as you increase, keep checking it. Because at some point in time, the more product that you get, these items here become better. Alright? If you haven't taken a screenshot already, which you said you did, go to Gallog.com and use this trading app. Okay? It's enough to really give you some really good, solid, quality information for you to be able to work through. Okay? And I did just hear the chimes go off. So Mark Sylvester, thank you for subscribing. I am very, very appreciative of that. I know you're over on our YouTube side. So thank you for subscribing on YouTube. So getting back to Fabio, hopefully this makes a little bit more sense to you. Okay? Now, if I were to take that 855 and add that back in, right? Because you reinvest your profit. And then I recalculate. So now I'm up to making 1,000 per run. Each one of these runs should be less than 10 minutes. So if I make 1,000, then by the time I do my third run, now I'm making 1,100. Okay? So now that should be after my third run. On my fourth run, I'm now making 1,200. Right? So this is just going to keep reinvesting that money, so you're still keeping about 5,000 off to the side in case you have a 30K crash that kills your cargo. Okay? So if you want my suggestion on how to get in and do this and start off with the limited funds that you have, do the box delivery, take half of your funds, which is about 5K, go to Tram and Myers, run aluminum until you get up to a good amount, and then run it back to Port Olisar. Keep doing that over and over again. With a Freelancer, you're not going to run out of material at that location. It will help you start off by making some cash. Okay? Once you get up to about 80 or 90,000, 80 or 90K, at that point, you can ask me again, and we'll get you started back over with a different trade that will help you make a little bit better money. Okay? But that is how you start. That is the very basics of how you're going to be able to start with the limited funds that you personally have right now. Hopefully that helps you, bud. Alright, so we already checked out Love Ridge. We've already done all of these other locations, but what we wanted to check out was Humboldt Mines. So we're going to run over and we're going to go ahead and check Humboldt Mines. Oh, what's going on? We're not being able to set it, so that means we're going to have to make a micro jump. Okay. Okay, so, but can you make example if I have 800,000? Is that what it is? Trying to get your zeros. Which route can you make 800,000 with? Alright. There's not a single trade in this game that you can make 800,000 in one run. You can't do it. The best that I've ever seen is about 300K. And that's a fully loaded Caterpillar with Laranite. Alright? You have to slowly farm it. Alright? So, if you want to be able to get up to that kind of range, you have to take it in steps. You have to start with some of the basic trades like what I just showed you. Get your funds built up to about 80,000 AUEC. And then once you're done with that, you can start trading in more expensive materials. And the more expensive materials that you're trading in, generally speaking, the more money that you're going to make. Okay? Alright. Fabio, that's what I was just saying. You cannot make 800,000 in a single run. Okay? What you can make is a small portion of that. The largest and greatest item that you can take and you can operate with in a Freelancer is going to be either, and I'm going to say this wrong, is running drugs. But running drugs, you can't sell them fast enough to make a good money. Okay? Not money that you could hang your hat on. Okay? But Laranite. If you run Laranite, if you have enough money to buy a full cargo hold in the Freelancer of Laranite, and you run it and you deliver it, you're going to make about 45 to 50K off that Laranite. And you're going to do that in Hurston. You're going to run it from Ariel off of Besdick, and you're going to run it to Lorville on Hurston. Okay. All right. So that's so obviously there's a disconnect between me and you just simply because it sounds like your English is not your first language, and that's fine. I apologize. My misunderstanding there. Once you reach that 800,000, then again, we're talking 800,000. I'm talking 80,000, not 800. Once you reach 80,000, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to Tram and Myers. Ironically, I'm Italian, but I don't speak it. I know enough of the curse words to probably offend you, and that's probably about it. But so we'll just go with that. My father and my mother, spoke it when I was young, but I really didn't get a chance to ever really truly learn it myself. But when you are, you're still going to go to Tram and Myers, but what you'll do is you'll pick up Diamond. Instead of picking up the other stuff, you're going to pick up Diamond, Fabio. And you're going to run that Diamond to Lorville, and you're going to sell it. Or you're going to run it into Hurston and Lorville, and that's where you're going to sell it. Okay? That's what you do once you have 80,000 in the bank. That trade route will then start making you a good chunk of cash. Zeno, I have always asked the same type of question, but then again, I could answer that by turning around and saying, Gallog is always telling me to run medical supplies, and medical supplies are crap because you can't sell them anywhere. Your profit margin will probably be about 30K, 30,000, Fabio, with a full loaded Diamond running into Lorville. Let's see. So let me go back and check out a couple of these. Which route would you suggest for someone who has 90K UEC with a Freelancer? Obviously, it's Diamond. So, yep, just answered you on that one. Trying to catch up with some of these comments real quick. Now, anywhere that I say run Diamond, you can also substitute with Titanium. Okay? So guys, if for whatever reason you run into an issue where you're no longer able to run Diamond, switch to Titanium. Alright? Your locations may have to change. Like for example, running Diamond, your best place to buy Diamond is always going to be Tram and Myers. One of your best places to buy Titanium is going to be on Ariel at either Besdick or Latham. Okay? And even of those two, Latham has the better price. But at the end of the day, your destination is still the same. Your destination should be targeting Lorville in Hurston. Landing gear. No problem, Mark. Glad to help. And no problem, Fabio. Again, guys, you can always, and feel free, even if I'm not online and you have a question, obviously if you're on Twitch, there is a message, there's an instant messenger or direct messenger that's there. And if not, and you're on the YouTube side of the house, then you can always take and put a message against a video and ask whatever question you want to ask. I do go through and I try and answer pretty much everything that I possibly can. Alright, UC. Hopefully we will see you back tomorrow. I appreciate you being around and sticking around with the stream. All the views and the watch time and everything and subscriptions, they all help us grow. Kazuma, let's see. Thanks as well. I'm in the same situation. Just got to that 90K mark. You're welcome. Not a problem. You know, that 90K seems to be the perfect area, or 80 to 90,000 seems to be the perfect area to move on to the next set of type of trades. I just am still going to always caution everybody who ever watches my channel the mistakes that I made. Do not ever invest more than half of your current AUEC funds into loading up your ship. If you do, you are asking to waste potentially a ton of time. Okay? It's better to go ahead and run a cheaper commodity and make steady profit than it is to go into an expensive commodity that you're trying to spend all of your money on for a single run. That's high risk. It's high risk and may not always be high reward. And in some cases, you'll basically end up putting yourself in a situation where it's going to take you 5 to 10 times longer to make money because of the fact that you try and rush it. And before anybody wants to make any claims on that, I'll just show you. I'm not joking around. It does work. The process and the technique works. It takes a little bit of time, but you definitely get there to where you build it up. That is very ship dependent, Kazuma. I will tell you that when you leave from Tram & Myers and you fly out and you go to make the jump to Hurston, your jump itself should take no more than about 4.5 minutes, even in a standard Freelancer. However, your final approach into Lorville will take you about 2 to 3 minutes to land. And then going to the Central Trade District will take you about another 7 or 8 minutes to get there and sell all your stuff. Alright, so this is a new location for us, right? And what I'm looking at is the titanium price here where we're at, right? So let me scroll back up here. Obviously, I've got to reset some things here. Let me go ahead and give myself a ton of money, but we are going to go Lyria, and we are on Humboldt Mines. And we're going to be going back to Area 18, right? So when I'm looking at titanium, it says 756 to buy, right? But when I'm here and I'm taking a look at titanium in-game, it's actually 794, which means we are going to have an absolute crap profit margin off of this product right now. Alright, so Doomsday. Let's jump over to there. Hi. How is your advice for Peep with 800K and a cat? Alright, so 800K and a cat. 800K and a cat is where I will start doing the following run. And it sounds very similar, but I will start doing titanium runs. But the way that I run my titanium runs is a little different than most people. Let me go ahead and load this up because I need to pull my map up to show you. Let's just see what we can get. So at least here we can also get a full load even though it's 52K, right? Titanium's a little bit expensive here at this location. So Doomsday, as soon as this processes, I'm going to go up and pull up my map and I'll show you what I'm talking about and how to do this. Because this is a run that I strongly suggest. I don't want to go there, I want to go out this side. And I will tell you to do this every day of the week. I don't care. It's going to make you some good cash. Alright. So Hurston, once you get up to that 800K range and a Caterpillar, Hurston is going to be your best friend. Okay? Because there's multiple runs that you can make. you can go from Hurston and Lorville to Ariel, okay? And what I do when I fly my Caterpillar, and I've done it plenty of times on stream, I will fly into Besdick, and I will load up on Laranite. Alright? I will then fly over to Lathan, and I will top off with Laranite. You're never going to fill your Caterpillar, but you may end up with about 100 to between 80 to 120 SCU of Laranite. Okay? And just based upon the refresh rates in general, you're always going to end up with that quantity. Now, once you hit Lathan as your second stop, whatever you have open space for in your Caterpillar, pick up titanium. Okay? And then immediately beeline back to, obviously, let's back out of here, immediately run back over to Lorville. Got to rotate my map back again. This is driving me nuts. Alright, and make that sale. That total sale is somewhere in the neighborhood of around 80 to 90K profit, and you're staying within the system. Alright? So that's one. Now you can do the same technique, but you do it here on Ida. You go to Ryder and then to Woodruff, but you're doing it with astatine. Okay? And then again, you go right back to Lorville, and you're going to be able to make somewhere, again, around that 80 to 90K range within a matter of minutes. Okay? Now, the risk here is that with both of those commodities, you're going to be putting between 380,000 or 400K in loaded product in your ship. So that's one of those reasons why you need to make a beeline. The moment you get that product, make a beeline and get it landed. Okay, a 30K with running this type of material can be a very big issue when you're only at the 800,000 mark. Okay, but it still holds true that if you're only loading with about 400,000, then you're still at half of what your total bank account is. That's your saving grace. So that's my suggestion, Doomsday, for someone who is sitting with about 800K and a Caterpillar. Now, if you would like my honest opinion about how to, let's just say if you want some options that are slow, steady earners, that you're never risking more than 75 or 80,000 in loaded material at a time, then you go back to the basics. And it doesn't matter what ship you're running. The basics are the basics. I would personally target distilled spirits, processed food, and run that stuff out to the HUR locations, the rest stops, and then grab scrap from there and run it back to Port Olisar. Really? That's not where I clicked. And then between that full trade route, you can make about 50,000 in profit. Traveling between is much quicker than waiting for a refresh. And in the cycle of things, and I don't want to go to mathematics, right? But in the cycle of things, if you go and you land at one location, lift off, land at the other, then head to Lorville, and then you turn around and go right back to the original first location after you leave Lorville, by the time that whole cycle is done, you've got at least 2 to 3 refresh cycles that have already happened to that Laranite and titanium before you ever even make it back to the location. You are always guaranteed to have product. You're always guaranteed to have trade material. So yes, it is better than sitting there and waiting for a refresh. want to be there. I want to clear that route, and we're heading back over into our core. Area 18. Alright, we'll find our core when we get there. Alright, Doomsday, let's see, hold on. Refresh takes 5 minutes. I know that Gallog reports everything as a per minute refresh rate, but if you step up to a trade terminal, it's 5 minutes from the time that you make a purchase to the time that you can re-interact with that trade terminal and make a secondary purchase of the same material. Okay? So, again, if it only takes 2 minutes to launch and get over to the other location, planet side, it's still a much faster run. Now, if you stick around and watch the channel long enough, then when I do my actual real trading days, as opposed to this beginner stuff that I'm showing like right now with a Freelancer, when I have my caterpillars out, there's some techniques that I run, and it makes an absolute butt ton of money by the time it's all said and done, which is how I support my Friday giveaways. Fabio, mining is fantastic. I will never tell you that mining is not fantastic. It's a different type of gameplay, and it does take some time, but if you have the right equipment on your ship, which is like the Helix size 1 mining head for a prospector, you can make significant money with that. You do have to be patient. You do have to be very selective of what materials you actually mine. But once you get very versed at it, and what I mean by that is once you get comfortable with it and you follow a very small set of basic rules, it's very easy to be able to do it, and you will make some good cash. So I may dedicate some time. Let's just say Saturday is usually my free play day, so I may dedicate some time on Saturday if you're available, Fabio, and I'll show you some of the mining that takes place. It costs about 2.1 million. Yes, it does cost you some funds. Excuse me. FPS mining, I agree, it can be profitable, but you have to really know what you're doing on FPS mining, and you have to be willing to spend a lot of time to make it work. Again, I don't have a problem with it by any means because I did it for quite some time. Landing gear. Zeno, actually, there's another technique that you can do. If you buy multiple backpacks, then all you do is unequip one backpack after you fill it up and put your new backpack on. And then each one of those backpacks becomes stored. And that backpack is now safe even from a 30K. At least from an FPS mining perspective. But the risk is that you usually get into a cave and you get lost when you have that, when you're trying to do that much mining or FPS mining. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this guy on the ground here. Alright, so I'll let Xano kind of go back and forth with you there, Fabio, on some of the information with the mining side of it. But again, Saturday, if you're around, jump onto the channel and you will see that I will pull out my prospector on Saturday, and we'll go do some mining. And I'll take you through the process of how to do it, how to be selective behind it in order to be able to make really good money. And the prospector is rentable if you have about 44K in your bank. And you can rent it for 24 hours. And that's more than adequate amount of time to be able to make some good money out of it. Alright. So like I said, I'm not expecting, even though the titanium was available there because of the price on it, I'm not expecting to make really good funds here. But it's still because of the expense behind it, it's still a pretty solid commodity to try and run. And again, all you're doing in this case that I'm doing is all in-system trades right here around our core. And we'll pick a stream like this, like a basic intro to trade. And again, we'll pick locations, like right now I'm dealing Arcor and Lyria, and we'll pick some locations, and we'll continue to try and do this on occasion and see what we can come up with to see if we can explore some really cool potential options in maybe like multi-stopping some trade routes. Fabio, no, I don't just suggest only doing that. Okay, it's very dependent on what ships you have available to you. It's fun to do some bounty hunting missions. It's fun to do some central. It's fun to do bounty hunting. It's fun to do claim jumpers and stuff like that, the Merc missions. So it's very exciting and fast-paced. But if you're looking from a pure raw let's make money, if you want let's make money with no risk, then it's mining and the prospector. If you want let's make money with risk and have a much bigger earning potential, then it's going to be trading. Now, if all you have available to you is small ships, then I'll tell you right now, the prospector is going to make you more money in the long run than a standard freelancer would. Because I can make, 100 plus K in a single run with the prospector, and I can't do that on a freelancer. I don't care what you run. I can't do that on a freelancer. All right. So once we sell this, I will say, I got a few people that are watching through the Twitch stream, but most of the folks today are over on our YouTube side. And for those of you that my normal stream time usually wraps up around noon my time, which is a few minutes away. So I'll always tell everyone, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for following. Our channel at Tabletop Nerdcast it started out as a tabletop role-playing game group, which, speaking of tonight, so it'll be about 7:30 my time, and it's noon now. We will have our Star Wars Age of Rebellion role-playing game that we're going to be broadcasting tonight. And then, but every morning I'm running Star Citizen as a video game content. So feel free to check it out anytime. But for those that will be over, or for those that are over on our Twitch side, here shortly. Why did I run into here? I did that wrong. Whoopsie. Wasn't paying attention. Oh, that's terrible. That stinks. Okay. We'll just have to catch it from here. But for those that are watching on our Twitch side, I will be raiding into one of my favorite streamers, and he's a guy that I follow. Now he does a lot of stuff over with the FPS shooting type and a lot of other things. So Michael Atkins, thank you, thank you for the sub. But here momentarily, I'll be taking my stream down and we'll be raiding over into his channel. He is a very good watch, and I do highly recommend him for those that are on, you know, that are here. If you want a different aspect of the game, like I said, he does a lot of the FPS stuff, and he does a lot of the I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because my screen over here is blowing up on me. So, Michael, again, I really do appreciate that for what was done. But Bagonus is the streamer's name, and he's one of the major players within the Star Citizen streaming world. Again, we will be raiding over to his channel momentarily, but he enjoys the FPS side of it. He enjoys the crime side of it, and he enjoys the, you know, doing some of the missions like the Caterpillar missions and the prisoner missions, things along those lines. So, guys, he himself is a vast knowledge in this game. Full disclosure, again, I'm still what I would consider new to it, and I'm picking up more of the lore in the background. So, again, it's going to be kind of boring for me to run over and just sell this material in front of you, and we actually are up against our time limit. So, let's see. Let me answer Fabio here really quickly, though. So, sorry to only recap. I've 80K to spend in trade run, and I go from Tram and Myers, buy Delmont, and sell it in Lorville. That is 100% correct. Yes, do that. Okay? So, Fabio, that is going to be one of the best trades that you can do. Okay? With the amount of money that you currently have and a freelancer. Alright? So, guys, I think that is pretty much going to wrap us up for the day. So, guys that are over on YouTube, again, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. The stream will actually be coming down here momentarily, and for those that are on Twitch, be prepared. We're going to be raiding over to Bagonus' channel, so it's just going to kind of pick you up and drop you over in his channel. If you don't want to stick around and watch him, then by all means feel free to bail. He usually runs for about another 3 to 4 hours beyond the time that I stream. So as soon as I step off of this ship, we'll be good to go. Oh, Fabio, no worries, man. We have folks from all over the world, and there's actually a viewer that we have who's from, I think it's Eastern Russia, and we actually have to run Google Translator for him to be able to cut and paste stuff. So patience is great, man. We want to be able to include everybody in the game because we're gamers. So, all right. That said, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day, folks. So I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Keep